So good afternoon. I am Ajit Kumar. I'll just introduce myself briefly and then we will go with the session, what we have planned today. I am a graduate of 1980, electrical engineer gold medalist from Delhi College of Engineering. You can call me a vintage class engineer. And from there onward, I was working with NTPC. You may be all knowing NTPC. NTPC is National Thermal Power Corporation. And I worked for 35 years in that company in various positions: design, engineering, quality assurance, business development, commercials, nuclear, renewables. And last my post was ED commercial. From there I moved to company called PTC India Limited, Power Trading Corporation. This company was the first in the trading mechanism, when the power could be sold and you could purchase power on a daily basis or a weekly basis or a monthly basis. Before that, the arrangement was that you have to buy power on a long-term basis. So PTC introduced the concept of electricity being sold on daily basis. Now, of course, on the exchange, you can buy power for half an hour or 1 hour also. That arrangement has been done now. Of course, the first exchange was established by PTC India only. Now, during this professional career of 41 years, I have completed my MBA in finance as well as PhD in management. Because during this process, I found that knowledge enhancement is must for your career enhancement. And all of you have taken a very correct decision to increase your knowledge, because that adds to your capability to find good jobs, new jobs, and you can move on faster. That is my brief background, and we will start with the session. The session I will just start sharing my screen. Are you able to see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
We will.
And number one, number two, are you able to hear me very clearly? There is no echo, or there is no sound voice.
No
issue, sir.
No issue, sir.
And third, I hope you will be comfortable in Hindi, English both, or you want only Hindi, only English?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, both, sir.
Both. And now from my side, you are free to interrupt me anytime, whenever you want. You can stop me, just tell your name and you can ask questions. Or if you want, you can put your questions on chat. Then I have to open the chat. I have not opened a chat. You can ask questions from me. That will be better. You can interrupt me anytime, whenever you want. Just tell your name and interrupt me. So we will be together for next 3 hours. We will be today talking about tariff regulations and a case study that how those regulations are being applied to determine the tariff of a power plant. We will be basically talking about CRC tariff regulations 2019-24, but during the process we will try to cover many related aspects of the power plant. What we will discuss today: what is the pricing principle? How do we need a regulator? What needs to be done? What is the regulatory setup in India? What are the various arms, CRC, SCRC, and all that? What is the legal provision for tariff, for determination of tariff, what our act says? Then what are the components of tariff? How do we determine the tariff of a power being generated and power being sold? What are the CRC tariff regulations? We will discuss in detail about this. And then we will discuss a case study applying those tariff regulations for determining the tariff of a project and the merit order scheduling. I will explain you everything in detail. Don't worry. Some of the things may be new to you. I forgot to ask you how much months you have spent in this course. Anyone can reply?
Sir, near about 1 month.
And the classes are held on daily basis?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Except Saturday and Sunday.
Morning 10 to 1 and evening 2 to 5. Okay. So then in this, you may be aware of some of these topics which I am going to cover. Basically, pricing principle, if you say we need a regulator to mimic the market, how the market is going to move, and it avoids the monopolies also. That is the idea of regulator. It keeps a check on the monopolies so that they don't unnecessarily keep on increasing the price. And it also ensures that the people who are investing money into a system, they get a fair market value and they don't exploit the market also. Like we can say the NTPC is a big daddy in power sector. Although I am from NTPC, so there is a lot of check being put by CRC on NTPC investment into power capacity, its methods of power generation, and they try to ensure that the distribution companies get a fair deal while dealing with NTPC and the consumers are benefited. And the regulator also checks the pricing being done by the private companies. Any private company who puts up a power, you know that Electricity Act has allowed the private companies to set up power plants without any license. Any person can set up a plant. The only thing is that he has to follow the CEA guidelines for setting up a plant, and then he has to seek a connectivity with the transmission system. If you don't understand any of my terminology which I am using, you can stop me. I'll explain that in detail. Otherwise, I am assuming that you understand what I am talking. There could not be anything which you do not know. Applying connectivity means that he will apply to power grid or CTU, Central Transmission Utility, who basically controls the expansion of transmission system in country. So they will apply to the CTU for getting connected to the transmission system so that they can evacuate the power what they are planned to generate. So the regulator basically ensures that the private people who are setting up a plant, they unnecessarily do not say that my capital cost is very high, because the regulator has set up a benchmark for every equipment and every process and every system. They try to control everything. They have put up a timeline for commissioning of a project. They have put up a timeline for the profitability. They have put up a timeline for the availability, and all the parameters have been put. So the regulators basically ensures that there is no exploitation of the market by the monopolies. So and you know that what are the monopolies? Monopolies will come which are capital intensive, which is not economical to have more than one player. Like let us say NHAI is some kind of a monopoly. They can do anything whatever they want. But then there is a regulator who will check. Railways is a monopoly. Coal India is a monopoly. Although we don't have a regulator in Coal India, they keep on changing the price. They keep on charging. So we need a regulator for the railways. We need a regulator for the Coal India also. But for the power sector, we have a regulator who ensures that the prices of the power which are being produced by various power generators are market oriented and are beneficial to the consumers. And the regulators also ensure that the market doesn't fail. It should not so happen that they get less paid, they are forced to sell at a lower price, and they are not able to service the interest what they have interest or loans what they have taken. So they ensure that they do not fail. And in infrastructure sector, we cannot rely on the market forces. So the regulator ensures that the infrastructure companies do not fail, because it sometimes you may be seeing that in the exchange sometimes the prices go to 2 rupees, but that doesn't mean the NTPC will be forced to sell the price at 2 rupees, because that is only for some slot. You know that the entire whole country, the power sector is being sold on a daily basis, and each day is divided into 96 time blocks. Each time block is of 15 minutes. So the load dispatch centers are the RLDC and SLDC. They control the power being generated and sold for every 15 minutes. They monitor each and every plant at a central control stations in Delhi, National Load Dispatch Center, and we know everything. We will move further and discuss these issues as the time comes. This is clear. Any question on this slide?
Clear, sir.
Any question? Anyone has any clarification? Anything to ask? Regulator, market, monopolies, controlling the price, ensuring that the market doesn't fail, ensuring that the market prices are available to the infrastructure people, because they have invested huge money, and the market moves in the interest of the customer, not in the interest of the producer. Is it clear? We go further.
The market, sir, sir, please explain market in this
Market in
electrical
market,
system.
I will tell you, market today in the market is the people are buying power. As per the Electricity Act 2003, those who have a requirement of 1 megawatt and above can purchase power from anywhere. Not necessary that they have to take power from their distribution company. They can buy power from exchange, they can buy power from me, they can buy power from you. But only point here is that for the power to flow from my power station to a industry located in Andhra, he will need a open access. He will need a permission to take this power on the transmission line. So that transmission line is being controlled by a CTU. So he has to see what is the capacity available. So that open access has to be taken. In one of the sessions, we will talk about open access. Access means accessibility, open accessibility for anyone to use that network. Anyone can go and ask that I want to buy power, not from the Haryana government, I want to buy power from a PTC. So PTC can give him power from a Andhra station to Haryana industry. So that is how the market develops. There are certain private companies, like in Delhi, the distribution companies have a different model. Tata's company as well as the Reliance companies, BSCS and BYPL, they have a 50% joint venture with the Delhi government. Although it is a 50-50 joint venture, but Delhi government has given a full control to these people to operate the power station, to operate the power system in Delhi. Now, as the demand increases in the Delhi, as you know, every summer the demand is increasing. Now, these companies have to buy power from the market, power from the producer, and give it to the people. So, market is both ways: the generator, the buyer, and the consumer. They all consider a market. The private companies who have set up a plant, but they don't have a PPA, power purchase agreement, with anybody to sell the power. Maybe PPA. Have you come across the word PPA or not?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Power purchase
Yes, sir.
agreement,
Yes.
sir.
If you have understood the PPA, then this PPA means he has to have a agreement with somebody to buy his power. Suppose there is a company called Hindustan Power in Chhattisgarh, and he has a 1200 megawatt plant. He is able to tie up around 800 megawatt with Madhya Pradesh, but other 400 megawatt he doesn't know what to do. So he will come to PTC to sell it on 1 month basis, 3 month basis. He will go to exchange to sell the power, or he will talk to submit the tenders to various companies like Haryana wants to power in summer months for 2 months. So this is all constitutes a market. Is it clear?
Okay, sir. Thank you.
So people who are operating in the power sector, who are able to sell, buy, consume, this is called market. There is another term in market, this is called banking. I'll give you an example, like let us say that J&K or Himachal, who has a lot of hydropower plants, but they are not able to consume that entire power during those summer months. So they give this power, like let's say J&K comes to PTC, he says that I want to do a banking, I have a 200 megawatt surplus power, but I want this power back in winter months, and I will not purchase power, and I don't want money for that. So I will give power now for 2 months, and I will take back this power for 2 months in winter months. Now there are some states in northern region who have a very high power requirement during summer months, like Punjab, Haryana, Delhi, maybe Madhya Pradesh. So they don't need power in winter months. Summer they need a lot of power because there is a lot of heat over here. So PTC approaches these states, and Haryana says yes, because there is sowing season also. So I will buy this 2 months power from J&K and will return him in winter. So this is called banking. In the process, the only thing what is called loss, transmission loss. People have to bear the transmission loss, and they have to pay some 2 paisa, 3 paisa to the trading people. That's all. So that is another
Sir,
market.
I have a one question, sir. ये जो मोनोपोली आप यहाँ पर है, तो वो तो 2003 के बाद तो मोनोपोली नहीं चल रहा है ना, क्योंकि
नहीं,
वहां
अभी
पर
भी
तो
है,
बिल
अभी भी है।
अभी भी
आप
अभी भी
देखिए,
है, लेकिन बोलिए।
जैसे एनटीपीसी को देखते हैं, एनटीपीसी का 65,000 मेगावाट कैपेसिटी है। एनटीपीसी अगर सारे प्लांट बंद कर दे तो क्या होगा? पावर स्टेशन चलेगा? पावर सिस्टम बंद हो जाएगा। जैसे डिस्कॉम है, महाराष्ट्र है, गुजरात है, महाराष्ट्र में टोटल कैपेसिटी 15,000 मेगावाट है। आंध्र प्रदेश है। दीज पीपल हैव सेट अप देयर ओन बिग प्लांट्स। मान लो वो कहे नहीं जी हमको पावर नहीं खरीदना है, वी डोंट वांट पावर। मोनोपोलीज इज नॉट फ्रॉम जनरेटर साइड, मोनोपोलीज इज फ्रॉम डिस्कॉम साइड ऑल्सो। बोलेगा हम पावर नहीं खरीदेंगे, हम शट डाउन करके बैठेंगे। मान लो पॉलिटिकली डिसाइड कर लेंगे हम पावर नहीं खरीदेंगे, तो क्या कर लोगे आप? तो रेगुलेटर विल कम इनटू पिक्चर, ही विल से नहीं, you don't want to buy power, don't buy, but then you pay the fixed charges. Understand? Clear?
Yes.
Yes.
We will, when we come next, we will see the tariff has two components, fixed charge and variable charge. So if a state discom politically decide that I will not buy power from NTPC because he is a central government and I have a tiff with them, it's a monopoly, he can say that I will not buy. Then the regulator will come into picture. He says no, you don't buy, but the power plant has been set up for you, you have to pay the fixed charges. So monopoly is in that sense. Monopoly is not that sense that anyone is controlling the complete sector. Nobody can control that. That is how the regulator has ensured that NTPC is not able to put up plants so large that they control the total system. That is why they came out in 2011. There was a regulatory order that after 2011, every power plant has to be put on a bidding purpose, not on a bilateral purpose. Anyone wants to put up a plant, any state wants to put up a plant, they have to do a bidding. That was to avoid the monopolies. Now also, if a state wants to buy power, they straight away cannot go to any generator that you give me power. He has to do a tendering. It has to be open process. We will, in the next slide, we will see that why this tendering or why this bidding or why this buying power from the market is helpful and how it is avoiding the monopolies. Is it clear? Market monopolies?
Yes.
Clear.
Okay, we go next.